Bobby Joe, come on up. Bobby Joe Edmonds.
Every time I look at your picture now I see in person, I think it's Ronnie Lott. Don't you look? Did you ever get that?
That's right.
You ever get that?
I get it, but I always say I look better than he does.
What a story, and a great story. Bobby Joe Edmonds, so much up and down roller coasters. Is that kind of a good way to describe everything? You're through high school, college, pro, and all those things?
Yes. And one of the things about my life is never boring, but definitely a roller coaster lifestyle.
And in high school, of course, there was tough times, of course, when you lost your mom. And talk a little about the impact that those around you and everyone had, whether it was coaches, whoever it was, that helped you get through those difficult times.
Well, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them, because that was very traumatic for me. Still tough with me to deal with today, but a lot of love and support. My aunt right there, Artie Downing, I'd like to give her a hand. She was critical. My mother's sister and my grandmother's daughter, naturally, has played a big part in my life. And definitely going to Lutheran North High School. And Mrs. Wrights and Mr. Ed Wrights, Mr. Craven, Mr. Russell, all the faculty at Lutheran North, what you did get a sense of was that they cared about you and that they did love you, and you had a feel in the sense that, hey, you were something special and they wanted you to do well. So being in that family atmosphere was good for me to be a part of and help me move forward in life.
And as was mentioned earlier, like Steve, who we'll talk to in a little bit, you end up at the University of Arkansas. Lou Holtz, I believe, was your first coach there, and quite an interesting guy he must have been to play for.
He was a dictator. So yeah, if you're playing for a dictator, it's going to be challenging, but one of the best coaches in all of college football history. So it was still a pleasure to play for him at times.
At times. Then a fifth-round pick of the Seattle Seahawks in the 1986 draft, and came in like gangbusters, certainly on special teams as a punt returner, making the Pro Bowl as a rookie punt returner. And that doesn't happen all the time, but making the Pro Bowl, end up playing 4 seasons with the Seahawks and the Raiders, and then a broken leg, of course, affected you there after those first few years. But that rookie season, when you got to Seattle, just talk about that and how you just got in there and just did what you do best.
Well, I always had confidence in my abilities, and the number one thing, which was a motivating factor, was I'm not going to be a failure, and you're always going to have haters in life, and St. Louis can be full of haters at times, and I'm sure some people that may have wanted me to succeed, and some that may wanted me to be happy if I failed, so that was very inspirational to succeed in that way. But after my first practice with Seattle, I called my agent, Jim Steiner, who was from St. Louis, and I told him that I was going to make the Pro Bowl this year, and of course he kind of laughed at me because most rookies do not do that. But what I saw on the field, I had confidence in myself, like I said, that I would be successful, and I had planned to be a Pro Bowler my rookie year, and I was able to do it, fortunately.
And we mentioned football, of course, a lot here, but you were also drafted by the Cardinals, the baseball Cardinals, in the 12th round. And then, after your, I think 3rd year with the Seahawks, you're still playing football, but you ended up, at that point, Cardinals didn't have your rights anymore, ended up playing some minor league baseball in the Philadelphia Phillies organization. What led to that decision to do that while you were still playing football?
Well, baseball was probably my first love. I always played baseball as probably started off at 6 years old. I only played 1 year of football in Little League, and then I played naturally in high school. So football was something that I could do, but baseball was my first love. But once you go to football, when getting drafted by the Cardinals, that is something that I wanted to do, was to be a professional baseball player. But it was tough passing a football scholarship to the University of Arkansas. So once you go to football, you get into that lifestyle, and then all of a sudden you're looking 4 years of football, have an opportunity to stay healthy. It could be in the National Football League. And then my mindset was if I went out of high school, 4 years in the minors, about 4 years in the minors, I could be a major leaguer. But anyway, football kind of took over, but I did have the opportunity to play some baseball, and unfortunately, that following football season, I got hurt and just kind of curtailed some things.
You mentioned it being your first love. Was there ever a question that, man, I wonder what would have happened if I had devoted myself to baseball instead of football?
Every day. I hate to admit that. Yes, every day, especially with the money that they make right now. No doubt about it. But I just have to be thankful for the opportunity that I have had athletically, but definitely playing at the University of Arkansas a couple of years and playing with the Philadelphia Phillies organization. I was just a step away from the big leagues, and I was after not playing for 4 years, so it's no doubt in my mind that I could have been a major leaguer if things turned out right. And Mr. Crane, I'm still not as old as you may think, so
he still looks like he can play, doesn't he?
At least bench runner or something.
You know, I mentioned earlier the educational aspect of it, and not only did you get your degree at Arkansas in broadcast journalism, but also a master's in education.
That was the biggest accomplishment. It hasn't been the athletic accomplishment that I've achieved academically, being able to graduate from the University of Arkansas with a broadcasting journalism degree and a master's degree is the biggest achievement for me personally.
Now, some would say a real achievement, which I don't know if it's ever been done, but we mentioned the 4 years with the Seahawks and then the Raiders, then the broken leg, and you're out of football. And then all of a sudden, 6 years later, not playing for 6 seasons, you end up going, I got to give this another shot. And you end up with the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay, go to camp, and you make the team and play the whole season with them, and you're returning kicks like you'd never been away. How I don't know if anybody's ever been away from a sport that long and come back and play. What do you attest? How do you explain that? How do you attest to what you were able to accomplish there?
I attested to God personally, because without Him, I would not have been able to do that. I knew that I wasn't playing during those 6 years because I could not play. It was a choice to not play, because at the time when I got hurt with the Raiders, I lost my mom and I lost my grandmother in a car accident my senior year. So it kind of gave me time after I got hurt kind of to grieve and kind of reflect and look at life in a different way and get myself together. So it really wasn't about the athletic career at that particular time. And then once my underwear started stretching and doubling over, I said I better start getting in shape, because I had gained about 30 pounds. And once I got back in shape and everything kind of came back together, and I got my mindset that I could still play and wanted to play, and then got the opportunity to play and did my thing.
So here's a big question. Of course, your dad played a couple of years of pro basketball in the ABA, American Basketball Association, with the Indiana Pacers. Also Bobby Joe Edmonds, your Bobby Joe Edmonds Jr., and there's another Bobby Joe Edmonds who goes by BJ the third. Might we see him? Maybe he's in Arkansas State as a safety. Steve Atwater, keep an eye on him. And I think he's here tonight. Is he here tonight?
No, he wasn't able to make it. They had some tests and had to do some football-related activities. He's in summer school right now.
But might we see another Bobby Joe Edmonds in the pros?
He's going to have the opportunity. Just got voted last week, preseason all-conference in the Sun Belt Conference at Arkansas State. Had a good year going into his junior year. He has all the measurables. He's 6 foot, 205 pounds, runs 4.40. So if he continues to make plays and stays healthy, he's going to have an opportunity.
Amen.
One more question, and I'm real curious about this, because when you were with the Seahawks, one of your teammates was Kenny Easley, who was enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past summer. And we're going to talk with Steve about this in a little bit. But you watched him up close. You've seen Steve. Okay, tell me, who was the better safety?
Steve Atwater. He will always be the best safety. And over all these years, I always let him know how proud I am of him as a brother and as a person and as a man. And he should be in the Hall of Fame soon. Should have already been in there, but looking for him to be in there one day. But I love him.
Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Give a big hand to Bobby Joe Edmonds Jr.